Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. Welcome. Glad to have everyone here. Anyone that's new to the channel and all of my amazing loyal subscribers. Welcome. We are going to kick off today with some administrative announcements. Now, I know there's some of you out there that do not like administrative announcements, and I get it. And you're going to want to skip right past to where you see me putting out the cards, and that's okay if you would like to do that. Although, I would recommend listening to the administrative announcements because there's some important information that you'll be receiving in this today. So, we're going to start off, for those of you who've been with me a while, you know that I have been doing the weekly readings for a very long time. Now, the past 2 months, I have recorded monthly astrological readings for you. So, after doing some assessment and some thinking things over, I have decided that from here forward, the only regular readings that I will be doing will be the monthly astrological readings. I am no longer going to be doing regular weekly readings. And now I might occasionally, if I have time, I may occasionally throw in a random mid-month reading if that happens, but the only regulars will be these monthly astrological readings for you. Now, it's actually a win-win for you. For those of you that are like, oh no, Nicole, just once a month. Well, you get once a month detailed information because when we delve down into your astrological signs, we're able to delve down typically and get a little more detailed information that's specific for you. And when you factor in, you've got your sun sign, your moon, your rising sign. And then for those of you that like to cross-watch on your crush or your spouse or your partner, like, so that's another 3 readings for you. So it's actually a lot of good information for you. And I do believe for most of you, that detailed information does provide you more information to help with your journey. Now, the other thing with that is the astrological readings, for those of you that aren't readers, you don't realize how much time we readers put into these things. So for me to do the monthly astrologicals versus the weekly, that's like 3 times the amount of time. So like for one astrological sign, there's about, on average, they're an hour-long recording. And then you've got 45 minutes of editing, truncating it. Then I've got 15 minutes of the YouTube prep, thumbnail creation, the truncation for that, and then the 45 minutes of rendering everything to YouTube. So that's like 2 hours and 45 minutes just for one astrological sign or for one weekly reading. Well, there's 12 signs, that's 33 hours per month dedicated to just doing those astrological readings for you. It's a big time commitment versus only 11 hours per month to do the weeklies. So I am happy to do the extra time for all of you because I do believe that it's helping and providing you more detailed information. Now, if I get feedback from you that, hey, the weeklies were better, then maybe at some point I will assess that. But at this point, it does appear that the astrological readings are providing you with more information. So I will keep doing that to help all of you with your journey. I am still not going to be charging. I'm not going to Vimeo at this point. I am not going to be paying for commercials. Well, getting paid for commercials, which interrupts your readings. And not to say that those things are a bad thing, because there's a lot of readers that do that. And when you look at it, if that's the source of income, and when doing the readings takes so much time, there's nothing wrong with that because it's not just money, but there's because I know sometimes some people are, like upset, and I've had some people ask me, you're not going to switch to this, and you're not going to start putting commercials in, and I'm not going to do that at this point because I would like to continue to offer you free guidance and free things, but that's not to say for the readers who do that that's a bad thing. They need to receive something for those services because it is an exchange of energy. Just, okay, because I'm hearing some grumbles from some of you. Okay, so say you've got a reader and they've got a full cup, because some of you'll notice like there'll be some readers online and then they'll like up and disappear. They're gone. Well, that's because they've been tapped out of energy. So if you get a cup of water and you fill your cup up with water in, and you got this reader, so they've got this full cup. They're super excited. They're doing these free readings online. They're posting them, and even take away any troll negative comments that they get. But they're posting them. But every time they're doing that, they're spending a number of hours per video, and they're dumping a little bit of water out and a little bit of water out. Well, if they aren't receiving any monetary compensation, be it through, the advertisements, those commercials that pop up, there's no water coming back in the cup. If they're not receiving donations, there's no water going back into their cup. If they're not in Vimeo, so that people are paying a small fee for the videos, there's no water going back in that cup. So at the end of the day, at the end of multiple months of them dumping out water, well, their cup's empty. they've depleted themselves. They are using all of their energy, but they're not receiving anything energetically back. And as all of you know, because there's so many of you that are spiritually awakened, which is why you're here, we have to be in a balance. So when people do have those things, don't look at it as negative. They are coming to their point of balance. And that is also why part of me having balance, I greatly appreciate all the donations that those of you make. That really means a lot to me, and that does help. That helps financially, especially for those of us that, this is now what we do, and those that do it full time. So do keep that in mind. But I'm not going to be charging you guys. We're not going to Vimeo, and I'm still not going to be bringing any ads on board. I know when I watch videos, there are some, which aren't even related to readings, there are some channels I watch where it's like a video every 4 minutes. I'm like, for the love of God, can I get through this? So I'm not doing that to you. But that's where we're going. From here forward, you're going to be getting your monthly astrological readings. You will be getting those every month. And if I have time, I'll throw a bonus in. Because I love y'all, I'll be giving you 33 plus hours of my time each month to make sure you are getting some information that I do hope and pray is helpful and beneficial for you. Because we're all just going through it right now. And as long as that's continuing to help everybody, we're going to continue pressing forward. Number 2, if you have made it this far, congratulations. Now you get to be rewarded for your patience. I have opened my schedule to start doing personal readings and healing sessions for people. Last night, I sent out to people who have been current clients of mine that I have been working with in the past. Now, granted, with retirement stuff, I've not been doing sessions for quite some time, but anyone that I've already worked with, last night I sent them all an email with a password to access my Book Now page on my website. Tomorrow afternoon, which would be Sunday the 17th of February, I'm going to remove that password and allow it to be open to the public so that you, if you have not received that email and haven't worked with me in the past, at that point then you will be able to get online and schedule any appointments. So do stay tuned for that, because again, I will open it up publicly tomorrow, which will be that removal of the password. Now, for those of you that received the password yesterday, when you go to the web page, if you were on a PC, there is a Book Now on the top, not the one in the footer. The one in the footer I have not linked yet. Once I make it public, I will link it to that. But right now, the only one that's going to work for you is that Book Now tab at the very top. If you are on a smartphone or a tablet, you will go to the upper left-hand corner. You'll see 3 lines. That's your drop down. Hit your drop down and then select Book Now. That will open up. It's going to bring it to just this big white screen with, I believe the box is black and it's got a red border around it. That's where you'll enter that password I sent you, and then you'll be able to get in and book your appointments. And for those of you that once it's open publicly, you won't have a password, you'll be able to get there by clicking the Book Now tab. Now, when I do open it publicly, do keep in mind, I've only got select days and hours that are available. So, and I'm only going out 3 weeks. So if you get online Monday, Tuesday, and you're like, my gosh, Nicole, there's no appointments. Well, my schedule's only showing 3 weeks out. So that's booked. That means I'm booked for the next 3 weeks. So just take a breath. No, it's okay. It's just not meant to be these first 3 weeks. And wait until the next week pops up, because you'll find in about a week that another week will pop up of availability. So, and I actually think the way that Acuity does it, I think it might pop it up per day. So if you check it, once we're 3 weeks out from the next day, it'll pop up. So do stay tuned for that. And the last piece, healing sessions. For those of you that want to schedule healing sessions, you will see on my webpage that I need to let you know whether or not I can do your session and how long the duration will be before you book it. So do not book a healing session until you have sent me a message saying, hey, Nicole, you got to provide me your name. What's your name? And what is it that you would like to have worked on in the healing session? You send that to me via the contact tab on my webpage. So you go to the contact tab, you put your information in there, and the little box you'll put in, here's who I am. Here's what I'm interested in having worked on. That shows straight up in my email box. And then I tap in and I ask God, Jesus, and the angels, can I work on Susie Smith? Can I do a healing session on her? And will it effectively help with her blown out knee? Will it repair her knee? And they'll tell me yes or no. And they'll say, usually, I've rarely had them say no. So typically they're going to say yes, yes, do the session. Yes, it will heal her knee. Yes, it will completely fix it. She will not need surgery, and it's going to take an hour, or it's going to take an hour and a half. They'll tell me almost to the minute how long your session is going to take. Then I will send you an email response saying, okay, go ahead, Susie, go ahead and schedule. It's going to be an hour and a half. And then you get on and you go through the book now process to book your hour and a half healing session. But I do need your name, and I do need to know what you'd like worked on. A couple of people that already, current clients that received the email yesterday, sent me an email saying that they'd like to know about healing sessions, but there's no name provided and there's no information as to what it is you'd like me to work on. So if your name is Glitter Girl 1428, that's not their names. But if their name was Glitter Girl 1428, I don't have a name to tap in the angels, and I don't know what it is you want worked on. And I'm very busy this weekend, so if you would like to get that booked before all of the appointments are filled up, I do need your name, because I don't have time to go back to my spreadsheet and database to find out, okay, what's Glitter Girl's name? And okay, what was an appointment? When did I talk to her? And I don't have the time to do that. I do have the time, though, to sit and pause for a few minutes to tap in and ask when I receive your email, okay, here's my name, here's what I'd like to have worked on. I will then sit down for a few minutes to tap in to find out what can be done and how long it will take. So just make sure, and we are done with those notes. Boom. So just make sure when you are sending me those things, your name and what it is you would like to have worked on. And again, that's through the contact tab on my webpage. So we are going to go ahead and get started. Get a sip of water. For those of you that want to know about the cards, I put the boxes and the books out, so you should know. The only ones that are not out is my, what do I have? I have my Lenormands ready and my Fin de Sickle Kippers if we need clarifiers along the way. So, as I make a mess next to my chair. So let's go ahead and get started. The timing for this reading, they're saying it's going to be from now, so today's the 16th, it's going to go through the end of February, so it's going to be about 2 weeks. Now, do keep in mind, if this pops up in your feed 2-3 months from now, say you've just got videos playing and this pops up and starts playing for you, then that's when you're supposed to hear it. So if you're sitting at your computer in June and this pops up, well, then that means whenever you hear it, these messages are applicable for you for the upcoming 2 weeks from when you hear it, okay? Okay. So we're using our Sherlock Holmes cards. We're going to be doing one more. Okay. We're going to be doing some detective work today. And I'm going to pull the bottom card. We're going to put that right there for later. That's your outcome, they're saying. They like to toggle back and forth. You'll find sometimes they'll say it is your overall energy. Sometimes they say it's the outcome. Today, that's your outcome. And, okay. And there's some stuff some of you are not communicating. Sorry for coughing in the mic. Tickle in my throat now. Oy vey. Okay. Okay. Bottoms of those decks. All right, let me make sure you can see these. I do have the camera zoomed in fairly close, so you should be able to see the graphics on the cards. I'm actually going to pull them a little closer to me so that when I'm sitting down, I don't smack the tripod. Because I have no doubt they're going to be pointing out some details on the cards for you. Okay. Well, right off the bat, while fixing them, all you have are cups and wands and then major arcana cards. So those of you that this message is for, this is about love. Yeah, you don't have any swords. You don't have any pentacles. So this is about taking some action with regards to love. You've gotten out of your head. They're saying finally. So you're finally out of your head. You've freed yourself. You're ready to take some action. You're ready to take some action and some love. Now there are 2 sevens. And 2 sevens is a sign of true love. It can also be self-confidence issues in relationships, you know, self-confidence issues that cause issues within a relationship. And then you have 2 10s as well. So you've got your 10 here and your 10 here. And, 2 10s is indicative of a end of a relationship. And in fact, you are ending a relationship. But on the other side of the coin, you're moving into a new. Because it's also the ending of a phase. And you'll notice there's all these archways. You see, here's an archway, here's an archway. This poster kind of looks like an archway, and there's another one. And archways are all about, expansion. An archway represents the expansive sky that is above us. But, archways are often used at ceremonies, weddings. They are indicative of walking from the old into the new life, the new chapter, the new love. They're also a sign of renewal. And you have four archways. And they're all in good spots. Actually, you have a 5th one right there. And they're all in positions where you want them to be. So for your situation, this central issue, your situation, you have the Ace of Analysis, which would be the Ace of Cups. For your foundation, which is the basis of the situation, you have the Inspector of Evidence, which is Wands, and then you have this 10 of Analysis, which is Cups. For your recent past, this would be in the most recent past month for most of you. For some of you, it could extend back as far as 6 weeks. They're even saying possibly almost, 2 months right before the holidays, right before the end of December. And it's the Court of Justice. That is a major arcana, would be the Justice card in traditional tarot. Then we have Professor Moriarty, and which is the Devil card. Then we have the Handsome Cab, which would be the Chariot in traditional tarot. And then we have the 7 of Evidence, which is Wands in traditional tarot. Those are your fears, your worries. Why is it that you are stuck in your head? What's got you so concerned? And then across the top, we have what the angels are recommending, and we will read those when we get to those. Because this is telling your story. What is going on? Now, you have this Ace of Analysis, and if you can see here, Sherlock Holmes, he's sitting in between this big old pile of paper papers that are all around him. He was very good at putting the pieces of the puzzles together by looking at everything, analyzing everything. He also trusted his intuition, that inner knowing, and he utilized that in order to connect all the dots, connect the pieces. And he would often also be able to see a very distinct pattern once he started to look at things. So you are at this place in love. And for a number of you, you've actually been evaluating who it is that you desire to have a relationship with. There's actually this chalk drawing of a woman sitting down next to him on the floor. So you have been evaluating a relationship that you are on the way out of. But many of you, you've been evaluating who it is that you desire to move forward with. You have, over again, they're saying the past 4 to 6 weeks, you have come to the realization that the chapter that you have been in is no longer right for you. You have come to a place, you've been doing a lot of inner healing, you've been doing a lot of evaluating things, going inward, listening to that inner knowing, putting the pieces together of, okay, well, why have I been in this cycle? Because for some of you, they're showing me there's been a cycle that you have been in with love. Maybe you've repeatedly kept picking similar partners, and this one partner that you did not choose was different than the others, and now you realize they're the one. I've had these toxic patterns, and we all have toxic patterns in something. Maybe it was a toxic pattern of, I wasn't looking for true, deep, meaningful love. I was just looking for a good time, a good night, a drinking buddy who had some benefits, not commit, not wanting to open up, not wanting to feel anything deeper. But you have had this tremendous healing. They're pointing at the smoke that's coming from the end of that pipe. When you cleanse your home, oftentimes you'll use sage to smudge your home. And scientifically, when you look at it, sage actually purifies the air as well. which you wouldn't think smoke would do that, but it in fact does. And it gets rid of all lower vibrational things just hanging out in your house, causing you problems. Now, they're saying this time that you are coming to the conclusion of right now, that you have been undergoing the past 4 to 6 weeks, has been a time of cleansing, a time of purification, a time of healing for you. It's a time where you have come to a state of having clarity on what it is you desire from here forward. You've also come to the understanding and realization as to what has held you back. And there is a, because they're saying it's love. Now, there could be a few of you, if you can tie this to something that's not love related, that they do keep showing me love. Yep, definitely love. Bottom of your deck is lovers. But it's love. For some of you, because this card's also about restoration after barrenness, so for a number of you, you already know who the person is, because again, he's sitting here, he's contemplating this woman. He's putting the pieces together. He's thinking about it. He's wanting to move in her direction. He's realized, okay, that's the one I want. But it's a barren. They're not together. They're not talking. They're not having a relationship. So this person where you would like to have restoration with them, you do want to reunite with them, reconnect with them, you're contemplating how do you do that. And you have come to this point where, okay, that's it, that's the one. You put all these pieces together. You finally figured it out. You finally have the truth of things and the truth of the situation. You're listening to your intuition. They're saying you figured it out, but you're still sitting on the floor. You haven't gotten up yet. You haven't taken the action yet. Now, this card's also about forgiveness being required. So for some of you, this person that you have from the past that you are planning returning to, you are planning to return to this person, it does require an apology, asking for forgiveness, which is actually even up there for the recommendations. I love it when they are consistent with their stuff. It makes life easy. So for some of you, you haven't gotten yet up off the floor because you're like, well, how am I going to get her to forgive me or him to forgive me? You know, as you're listening to this reading, it sounds like your story, but you are a woman, not a man. Go on ahead and go with that. You can flip it. But I am going to stick to keep it from having any confusion. What I am hearing and what I'm being shown and being told. What I'm being shown is, because this is you, you're the king right here that we're going to cover here in a second. But you realize it. You're like, okay, I've gotten everything figured out. I know where I want to go. I've got the clarity. Some of you, maybe you were choosing between 3 people because you got the 3 pillared candles here. Some of you was choosing between 2 people because you got the 2 lampposts. You're going from one person to the next person who is in fact the one that will make you very proud, make you very happy, bring you the fulfillment you desire. But you've got it. You figured it out. The angels are saying congrats. You've got it all figured out. You're ready to go there. Now your foundation of the situation. You have this inspector of evidence, which this would be, in traditional tarot, this would be the King of Wands. This is you. You may, in fact, be a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But this is you. You're the king. This is Inspector Martin. Now, Inspector Martin, he was very respected by Sherlock Holmes because he was a very honorable man. He was impartial. He was honest. He was magnanimous. He was very charismatic. And Sherlock Holmes really respected him. There were a lot of people that he would not work with, but he would work with Inspector Martin. This is also someone who takes charge. And this is you. You are Inspector Martin. You are the Inspector of Evidence. You are the King of Wands. It is time for you to take command of this situation. It is time for you to get up off the floor and take action. It is time for you to establish your position, establish what you desire. It's also time for you to free yourself in order to seize an opportunity. Because you see, he's standing here and he's looking out this window. and he's actually clutching the windowsill. You're ready to take this leap of faith. For some of you, the relationship, because some of you are not in a relationship, a large number of you are. For those of you that are in a relationship, this relationship, you see these bars in the window, the relationship has felt like a prison. You have felt stuck, like you could not escape it. Like, open this window, I need some fresh air. How in the hell do I get out of this? How did I get myself into this? Oh my gosh, I just wanted some fun. Oh, now I'm being held captive. You're ready to take the leap of faith. You're ready to jump out that window. I don't care if I sprain an ankle when I hit the ground. I am out of here. I'm done. I've had all I'm going to take. Not putting up with anymore. I know what I want, and it's not here. So I'm leaving to go toward what I desire. You've got this 10 of analysis, 10 of cups. Now, this Lord Solitaire, he's being reunited with his parents. He had been kidnapped. But this is about restoration, a homecoming that warms your heart, finally having the happiness and the contentment that you're seeking, because you've been seeking happiness, they're saying. You've just been looking in all the wrong places. But you know that now. But you also now know the direction to go to seek that happiness, where in fact you will find it. This is also about becoming whole again. So you see how he's standing back here and they're back here. If you look, the lights are shining down and it's illuminating this woman. And you see, he's here in the dark, they're in the light. And she's illuminated, she's lit up. So for a number of you, this is a divine love. This is your twin flame, or this is your twin soul. For some of you, it could be a very high-level soulmate, but she is your home. You are ready to leave the prison cell that you have been in, the relationship that you have been in, to return home to the one that you desire, the one who will make you feel whole, the one who will bring you the happiness that you desire. You're ready. This card's also about blessings in love. You're ready to finally have some blessings in love because you've had a challenging time getting to this point. You've had trials and errors in relationships, people that weren't honest, a lot of conflict and strife, but you're ready. That's your foundation. That's the basis situation. You're ready to jump out of here and go home. Now, what has brought you to this point? The past 4-6 weeks, you have the Courts of Justice. Again, traditional tarot, this is the Justice card. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it. No, you can't see the detail. The statue, she is blindfolded in this card. That's about, being fair, unbiased. In the past, you have felt blindfolded. Some of you were blindfolded to the truth about the person you have been in a relationship with. They were not being honest with you. They were lying about who they were, what their intentions were. There was a lot of dishonesty. But some of you were also not being honest with yourselves. You have in the past 4 to 6 weeks come to a realization that I'm not happy in this. Because you were wearing a blindfold. You weren't wanting to see the truth of the situation. You were just ignoring it. Despite being miserable, you were faking, acting like you were happy, acting like it was okay, putting happy little photos online, like, look at us, we're so happy. Look at our Instagram and our Facebook. We're a happy couple right here. Meanwhile, you're miserable. See all these clouds? You didn't want to acknowledge that truth until the past month. But they are congratulating you because in the past month, you have finally been carefully weighing the evidence. You have seen someone's true colors, their motives, who they are. You have seen that it's not the right fit. You have seen that it's not going to work. You have seen that the relationship was built on a rocky foundation. It was built on a dishonest foundation. It was also completely unbalanced. One was giving away more than the other one was. And it had been like that for most of the relationship. But you have now realized that. You've taken off the blindfold. You now are wanting to move in a new direction, wanting to move in the direction of your true north, because you see he's moving into the future and he's looking at a watch. They're saying you realize that the time has come for you to move in the direction of your true north, to move in the direction of your destiny, your fate. And they keep saying of your happiness. But what's got you worried? What's got you stuck? But you're not stuck long, because you are about to jump up. See that window behind him? Same window. This is what you're about to do and take that leap. But you've got this Professor Moriarty. He's the devil. This is the devil card. He was Sherlock Holmes' evil, dark, evil enemy, his nemesis. He actually had killed Sherlock Holmes, but Sherlock Holmes was actually just taking a hiatus, and 3 years after he had been killed, he came back from the dead. So for some of you, the last 3 years may have in fact been very bleak for you. And this is going to be you bursting out of this prison, out of this misery that you have been in, to finally come back to life. Because a number of you have felt dead inside for quite some time. Have not been fulfilled. And yet, although you've been seeking and trying to make things work to be fulfilled, find that happiness, it's just not worked. It's not been right. The puzzle pieces weren't fitting together. But this card's also, it's challenges, obstacles, someone blocking our path, fatal attraction. So for some of you, you are very worried, because if you look here, behind him, there's these two people beating this person who's tied down in this chair. They're staring out the archway. Same thing here, like him, ready to go through that archway. You're ready to go. You're ready to go to your new beginning, your new love, which for most of you is in fact an old love. You just aren't talking. But you're ready to leave the devil that you're with, the person that you're with. For some of you, you do feel like it's almost like a crazy fatal attraction, like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do now? They're like pulling crazy stunts here to keep me stuck and imprisoned here. So you're fearful that once you do start to walk away, they're going to pull some crazier stuff than they've ever pulled. You're like, how the heck am I going to deal with this now? I've already had to put up with their other stunts they've pulled. Oh my gosh, what low could they go to now? I'm not ready to deal with this. But you'll have success. You're fearful that they're going to be trying to block you. They're going to try to stop you the second you're trying to walk through that archway. They're going to lasso you down, tie you to a chair, and not for a dance. Tie you to a chair to keep you stuck. Oh, hell no, you're not going anywhere. Sit down. You're going to stay here in the dark with us in misery. We're going to be in hell together. And you're so fearful that they're going to block you, because you're like, I am so close. I'm at the window. I see where I want to go. I'm ready to go through it by myself, without the person who's been hanging on to my bootstraps. But you're fearful they're going to have a lot of arguments with you. They're going to try to block you. They're going to be pitching fits. They're saying for some of you, you're fearful that they're going to be irrational, overly emotional. If some of you, you're fearful that they're going to be trying to make a public display, an embarrassing public display. They're saying you don't have to worry about that, though, but they are going to make you feel almost like they're going to threaten that. They're not going to do it, because they'll make themselves look foolish. So don't believe that. Now, that's not to say that they won't be emailing their friends and such and sending messages, but they won't be doing something publicly. Although some of you, they're going to threaten that, but they won't do it. Because for some, that's actually going to hurt their career. Like they've got some career out. Maybe they've got a sales career. So their face is out in the public. So they don't want to look foolish. They'll make you think that they're going to. But they're lying. They're blowing smoke up your skirt, your pants legs. So don't believe that. Some of you are fearful that's going to happen. And then you've got the handsome cab. This is the chariot. You're ready. This is forward movement. It is moving toward our destiny, toward our purpose. It's about having that determination and that courage that regardless of any arguments, blocks, quarrels, disagreements, still moving forward. And then you've got the 7 of evidence. And this is standing up for yourself. when facing the adversity, facing those challenges, the blocks, the arguments, speaking up for yourself. Because you know how my throat was crackling when we first started. You need to speak up to this person. And you say, no, I am moving in a new direction on my own. This is done. I've got myself untied. I'm moving on by myself. But speaking up for yourself, because by being persistent, because your intuition, your inner knowing, you've now put the pieces together. You now know the direction you want to go in. By standing firm in that and being persistent in your moving forward, you will have success despite the arguments and conflict and strife that you're going to have. And for some of you, you actually have the 2 7s right by each other. They're saying it's going to take less than a week, less than 7 days. Okay, some of you, they're saying 7 hours. So for some of you, you're going to have to put up with this person pitching a crazy fit, losing their mind, acting a fool for about 7 hours. And then they'll be fine. You're fearful it's going to go on for 7 months, but it's not. They're saying most of you, so they're giving me a percentage. So about 80% of you, you're going to have 7 hours to have to deal with this person who's going to be a pain in your derriere. They're going to be lying to you. They're going to be threatening some crazy stuff. They're going to be acting crazy. But if you stand firm and you're moving forward to move in your new direction, and you don't allow them to block you and deter you, because that's what this again, your fears, your worry, you're so fearful that they're going to block you, they're going to stop you, they're going to have big arguments, pitching big fits, they're going to make you miserable, they're going to keep you trapped, they're going to keep you from moving on your own. That is not going to happen. The angels want you to know that is not going to happen. Because this new path of yours is destined. It is fated, and nothing's going to stop it. Not this person. For some of you, that has just been a thorn in your side for some time. Although you had a blindfold on. Even you were lying to people and to yourself, acting like it was great. Oh, it's so wonderful. And you knew it wasn't. But they're not going to stop you. They're not going to block you. You will have, again, 80% of you, you are going to have them being just a royal pain in the derriere for about 7 hours. So if you do it this weekend, then you're fine. You can start your work week. Whew, done with that. Time to go through my archway. Or if you're like, okay, I want to do it during the week so then it can be done and they can go to work and that'll be great. It's only going to be 7 hours. It really is going to be short, fast, done. And then you will be set free and you will be walking in the direction of your new path. For the other 20% of you, at most, you'll have to deal with it for about 7 days of them pitching fits, begging, pleading, trying to get you to come back, still acting kind of crazy, doing some crazy things, but it'll be done in 7 days. And they're encouraging you to distance yourself from the person. Just distance yourself from them. You know? So for some of you, you don't even live together. You don't even live nearby, so you don't even have to worry about them showing up at your house acting crazy. You just have the conversation. It's done. It's over. I'm heading in a new direction. And then just know that they're going to be doing some, stalking, texting, calling, but they'll stop after 7 days. And again, that's only like 20% of you. So for most of you, 7 hours and you're done. You're free. Now, what the angels are recommending that you do is you have Bradshaw's Directory, number 10. Now, the Bradshaw's Directory, this was the railway directory, so you could see where all the trains were going. You could find your fastest, most optimal path possible. This is about a fated new beginning awaiting you, awaiting your action in order for it to begin, in order for it to manifest, in order for it to start. This is also about seizing an opportunity that you have neglected in the past. So for those of you that, again, you know who you're heading to, you know she's the one, you did neglect her in the past. She's actually the one that you have to apologize to and ask for her forgiveness. But this is about seizing the opportunity. You did neglect her in the past. You didn't go in her direction. You chose someone else. And there's a tiny percentage of you didn't choose someone, you just chose a different, throw yourself into work. Although most of you, it was a different person. But this is also about getting off that current path, getting out of that current relationship that you are in, ending that cyclical pattern, ending that cycle, in order to be able to evolve, in order to upgrade your life, in order to receive gifts, in order to receive blessings, in order to receive the happiness that you are seeking. It's about letting go of one path in order to go on to the new path. They're saying close the book. Close the book, close the book. They're like showing me a man slamming a book closed. Bam, done. Like, when you get an old book out of an old library or an attic and it's got dust on it and you slam it, you'll see dust particles come up in the air. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a man slamming an old book closed that he kept leafing through the pages. I'm just going to touch it one more time, just one more time. But then, bam, slams it closed. Done. He's got this book up to his face. And he's got like this disgusted look on his face. So you're not happy with what you now see, this truth that you've come to realize. They're saying, slam the book closed. It's time. You're emotionally at that point too that you're ready. They're encouraging you to do that. Now, then you have this 8 of analysis, 8 of cups. This is about reconsidering our options before it's too late. It's also about discontinuing a plan that we've had due to rethinking, realizing, okay, that's not the plan I want. So it's about the rethinking for you. Again, they're pointing out the light posts. Closing the book on the relationship that you've been with to go to the new relationship that's awaiting you. That is through the archway, because here's another archway. She's through the archway, or he is through the archway. This is about facing, you have fears and worries, because this card's also about facing our fears, facing our worries, troubles, fears, things that we have blocking us. You are fearful of having this conversation with her or him. You are fearful of coming forward. You are fearful of apologizing. You are fearful of sharing the truth. You are fearful of sharing what has transpired. But they are encouraging you to face those worries, face those fears, face it head on. Go to her house and have the conversation. Call, set that date. Hey, I'd like to go have dinner. I'd like to go have drinks. Have that conversation. Because in the path you did not plan nor desire to be with her. Again, you chose another path. They're encouraging you to, because you have made the decision. This is taking the action on that. Because again, this is it's tied with your wands. This is taking the action. Okay, that's why. When you take the action, you will be rewarded for it. It will be a positive outcome. They're encouraging you to have that conversation. They're encouraging you to go forward, have the conversation with her, face those fears. Because they're saying for a number of you, the reason you're paralyzed, the reason you haven't gotten up off the floor and taken that leap is because you're so fearful. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen when I clear that distance and I'm right in front of her? Oh, what am I going to say? Ooh, what's she gonna say? Ooh. But they're encouraging you to do that. Because again, he's standing outside of a home, a townhome, a condo. They're saying it's time for you to return home. She is your home. It is time to have that conversation. It is time to overcome your fears of having that conversation. They're saying your fears are irrational. A large number of you do have to ask for forgiveness. That card at the bottom says, whom do you need to forgive? And at the bottom it says, as you release old anger or resentment, you will find that your wishes will come true. So for some of you, there is an apology that has to be made, but it will be received very well. You have the 6 of Wands. Now, at one point, the Queen, she had given Sherlock Holmes this pen that was made of emerald. This card's about victory, pride, self-confidence that, leads to this huge major success. This is also reciprocated love. when you go and make this offer, this gesture, you offer the apology, you offer the truth, you have this conversation with her, you will find that she feels for you just as you feel for her. And that will be the start of something beautiful. That will be the beginning. They're saying the beginning of your forever, the beginning of your happiness, the thing you've been desiring. That will start it. They're asking that you have the confidence to have that conversation, because you're going to be so glad that look, he's dressed in his finery. He's got all these medals and awards. Some of you have really been through it. You've earned some medals. You've earned some awards. You have been through the gamut getting to this point. Some of you, they're saying that you're ashamed of the things you're going to have to share. There may have been drinking addictions. There may have been sexual addictions. You fear sharing that truth with her. But you need to know, because a lot of you are fearful of sharing that because there's shame. And some of you are like, I can't believe I did those things. And now I can't believe that the one who's home to me, I'm going to have to admit this to her. My God, what is she going to think of me? Is she even going to want anything to do with me? Is she going to slam the door in my face when I'm standing at her door begging? Here, have some flowers. I've got a gift offering for you, a gift for you. What is she going to say? They're saying she actually will take pride in you and what you have accomplished and what you have endured and gone through. The apology is going to bridge that gap. The sharing of the truth is going to bridge that gap. Now, it is essential, they're saying, to have this chapter closed completely before you move in her direction. If you move in her direction before you have slammed that chapter closed, before you have totally ended that relationship. So for those of you that it is an ending of a relationship, you're looking at 7 days and you're over it. Saying we're done, you put up with a little nonsense for no more than 7 days. And that's only 20% of you. Most of you, you're looking at 7 hours of some nonsense. And then that chapter's done. So it's not even like it's going to be difficult, because they're saying for a number of you, you've already been going through the breakup process for months. For some of, yeah, they just cleaned my window. For some of you, you've been slowly trying and separating from this person since the summertime. So 6+ months, you've been slowly pulling away. Some of you have even tried to break up with them multiple times, but they won't let you go. They get you tied down. So it's not going to be difficult, they're saying, to close that book for good. It's literally, bam, slam it, it's done. But they are encouraging you, make sure that's closed before you move forward, because if you do move forward in her direction, before you have cut ties with the other one, before you've officially ended that, it won't go well. It will not go well. It will not go in your favor. But look how beautiful it will turn out if you do. So, angels encourage you, slam that door, face your fears, have the conversation with her, give the apology for those of you that have to share an apology, and you will come out with this great love. You will be back together. You will be moving forward together. It will be requited love. It will be very fulfilling. It will be victorious for you. And she will be proud of you. Because for some of you, you have some very interesting stories to share with her. Now, the gentle gardener, they're saying this is twofold. You know, a gardener. If a gardener is tending to his garden or her garden, and they're putting fertilizer on it, they're telling their plants every day, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, and making sure there's plenty of water, it will flourish. It will have so many blooms, it'll just blossom all over. It'll take over the sidewalk. But if the gardener does not tend to its crop, to their crop, if they aren't watering it, if they're not giving it love, they're not giving it fertilizer, and they're not pulling out the life-choking weeds, it'll just all dwindle up and die. It won't produce any harvest for them. It is time for you to tend this garden with them. You've made the decision, you've got it figured out. It's now time to put that effort in. They're encouraging you to put your effort in. The seed has already been planted, they're saying. It's time to water. It's time for you to share your emotions. Water it. Water this relationship with her. Open up emotionally. Share with her how you feel. It's time to communicate that with her. They're also saying to stop feeding those fears of yours, because there's some of you, you are so fearful that this is going to go poorly. They're saying for most of you, you really don't even care about having the conversation with the person that you're going to end it with, other than you don't want to have to deal with her drama or his drama, because you know it's just going to be a bit of a nightmare. But again, you're looking at 7 hours. For most of you, 7 hours and you're over it. Your biggest fear is the one who's home to you. How is she going to respond? How is she going to react? How is she going to take this? That's your biggest worry. The problem is you're allowing it to turn into a mountain. You don't see any mountains in here. There's no mountains for you to climb. There's not. The conversation with her is not going to be difficult. Look at this. This is beautiful. You're going to be greatly rewarded by God, by Jesus, by the angels. You are getting this divine love, this divine gift and partnership. They're saying stop feeding your fears. A lot of you keep playing worst case scenario in your head, and you're wrong. So yeah, you need to communicate. It's just going to turn out beautiful. You're going to have a beautiful thing. Now, the interesting thing, a lot of you felt cold in the relationship that you've been in, which is interesting because when you put these two beside each other, you've been out in the cold. She's been out in the cold rain as well. But she is, I don't know if you can see the detail. Here's her crown. She's taking a bit of a rest under this big old umbrella. She's your treasure. She is your queen. They're encouraging you by you having that conversation and coming out of the cold. It's going to finally end both of you feeling out in the cold. You do have to have the strength to do that and communicate. And then you'll have success. This is the card. This is your outcome. And this is the one that they told me to pull off in the beginning. This is your only pentacle card. This is the 9 of deduction, pentacles. This card is all about enjoying your accomplishments. It is about emotional fulfillment, emotional security, emotional blessings. It's also about having your life enriched by being reunited with your destined partner, with your queen, because you are the king, and she is your queen. You see, he's got this sword. He has no fear. If you move forward fearlessly, you will have this fulfillment. You will come together. It's going to turn out very positive for you. So, I hope that helps. I wish you all amazing next 2 weeks. I'm not going to be doing a weekly reading because I'm going to be starting on all of your astrological readings for the month of March. And I will talk again with everyone soon. Wishing you lots of love, joy, and blessings.